Welcome to the Get Real podcast. My name is Austin and I'll be your host. So today we're going to be breaking down Carmelo Anthony and what his future is. Where does he go from here? Is he done? Can he help out another team? Can he still, find a team to contend with and possibly win a ring? Or is he just done for good? So let's go ahead and break it down. We all know that Carmelo Anthony joined the Houston Rockets and that after about 10 games, they said, you know what? We gave this a run, we gave this a shot, it's just not working, and they cut him. He was roughly averaging about a dozen points, less than a dozen points, but his percentages were atrocious, shooting about 40% from the field and 32% from three-point line. And on top of that, he is not a playmaker, he's a complete black hole or an albatross on the defensive end, and he can't even get to his bread and butter, which is kind of ISO scoring, more of a mid-range guy. Now, I've heard time and time again that, they're using him wrong. They're trying to use him as a spot-up shooter. Same thing in OKC. It's just not the type of player he is. Well, he's not even getting to the spots to where he can be an average player. I mean, in the mid-range, it's more of his game, but across the board completely, he just can't hit a bucket. He's not athletic enough to get to a player right now, and, he's not enough to, blow by anybody or beat someone off the dribble. He can't do it, not at this point in his career. So what he's kind of left with is just kind of shooting, right? Which, if you can't blow by your defender, you just got to hope that you can shoot better, get past your screens, run across screens, get open, and pop a shot whenever you can, right? But he can't do either. So he can't defend, he can't pass. He's not really a great locker room asset. And then statistically, for the past 3 or 4 years, when he's off the court, his team is better. So all those things combined, if he can't even get to where he used to excel at, then what good is he on the team? I mean, Harden and CP3, those guys took a Houston Rockets team to the conference finals, took Golden State 7 games, great series, and they started off so poorly. Now, that's not all on Melo. They lost Trevor Ariza, Lava Mute, two of their best wing defenders. That was going to hurt regardless, but it's also not a coincidence once they just waived Carmelo or just said, hey, you're not on the team anymore. They started doing better. They started picking up some good wins, beating the Denver Nuggets, granted that Steph Curry's Golden State team, but still taking those wins. The same team that lost to just an average Spurs team just a few nights ago. So it seemed like just having him gone, as happened with Thunder the year before, they're just a better team. They started changing things around without him. So that leaves the question, is he done? Is it just time to retire? People think he can still be effective, but let's just review the option of retiring for a little bit. If he retires, it's not a bad time. He'll be on his 15th year. Being able to last as an NBA player till your 15th year is something that not even Larry Bird or Magic Johnson could do. They got sick, they got hurt. It's just not something that always happens. Lasting 15 years is not bad. It's nothing to scoff at. Not everybody's LeBron James, Tim Duncan, Kareem, Kobe, to where they can probably last 19 or 20 years and still be effective. Not everybody's like that. Usually guys last about 10, 12, 13 years. So the last 15 years, because he got drafted in 2003, along with the guys like Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. I mean, if you really look back at that 2003 draft class, who's really left? Dwayne Wade's on a retirement tour in Miami. He almost retired past offseason. LeBron's LeBron. He's the exception. But almost everyone else is gone. Chris Bosh retired. I mean, all these guys, they're not there anymore. Outside of like a Kyle Korver. And again, he's just a spot-up shooter. You give him 15, 20 minutes a game. There's nothing crazy special about him. He's just a shooter, right? So it's not something to be ashamed about, retiring at this point in your career. It's okay. He didn't win a ring. That's fine. He got his money, but he'll be in the Hall of Fame regardless, so it's done. Now, if there were options, these are the teams I've heard. I've heard New Orleans, Golden State, Lakers, Heat, on the outside, San Antonio Spurs, because they can turn anybody into a solid player. So, as a Spurs fan personally, I do not want Melo. I just don't. He would crush the team. He's completely ineffective shooting-wise, and he can't play a lick of defense. So, I mean, there's no amount of patience and time that we can just spend working on Melo. It's just, we might as well give those minutes to younger guys. Philly, I've heard it was an option just because after the Jimmy Butler trade, they lack depth, and that makes a bit more sense. But again, I mean, if he's just not going to be effective, the most I would do if I was Philly is give Melo a 10-day contract. Now that may sound insulting for a guy of his prestige, his record, his track record, all that stuff, but since he's been so atrocious, I think you just got to give him that kind of contract anyway to say, hey, we're not going to sign you to a full year. We don't even know what you're made of. But play a few games with us on this 10-year deal. Maybe 1 or 2 10-year deals. 10-day deals. Excuse me, 10-day deals. And we'll see what you got. We'll see what you got. And if you work out and we think you're a good fit, then we'll extend you for the whole course of the entire season. So take a 10-day deal or 2 just to play a few games, kind of test them out. And if he's good, keep him for the whole year, sign him for the remainder of the year. If not, cut your losses. You tried, right? There might be better options on the buyout market. Miami is really, to me, the only feasible option because no one really has any real expectations of Miami. He gets to join one of his buddies in Dwayne Wade, who's also retiring soon. So you get to kind of chill out in Long Beach while you're playing some basketball games and no one's really expecting you to do much. So it's just people get to enjoy you for who you are. That actually might be the best scenario. The Lakers, they're trying to build something. They're actually got about a 500, slightly better than a 500 record. I don't think LeBron takes it because there are plenty of times throughout the course of their career they could have linked up and it just never happened. And, Chris Paul, LeBron James, Melo, Wade, they're all tight, right? I'm sorry, but LeBron's probably reached out to CP3 and said, hey man, is Melo any good anymore? And you got to imagine how that conversation went since he just got cut. He wasn't effective. He was just really, really bad. And it just wasn't working. He had a decent game or 2, but I think it came in losses exclusively. So I can't see the Lakers giving him minutes and not playing their young guys like Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma. I don't see, unless one of those guys gets hurt and they feel like they have to get someone. Again, I just don't know how that works out. I think LeBron, he's a very intelligent guy, very high basketball IQ. I think he knows. If I can know that Melo's done, LeBron knows. And he has been actively recruiting them because they asked him, because reporters are going to ask these questions. He said, you got to ask the GM, you got to ask Magic, you got to ask, Rob Pelinka. Despite Magic and Rob Pelinka always consulting LeBron, especially this past offseason, on their free agent signings. So they've talked about it, I'm sure. Or if they decide not to, they all know it's not going to happen. And, Golden State already said, yeah, we're not interested. We already got some dysfunction going on with the whole Draymond Green and Kevin Durant incident. So I don't see that going down either. They just got too much on their plate right now, and they're just trying to compete for the title. So I guess that really concludes 2 things. 2 viable options. Have a little retirement tour and, join forces with Dwayne Wade, kind of kick back, relax, kind of ease into retirement, or just retire outright. And you could also play overseas if you're not against that, because there's some guys who are even Hall of Famers or All-Stars that go overseas because they want to play a little bit more, but they don't want to go exactly yet. Amari Stoudemire did it, a few other guys I just can't think off the top of my head. It's fine if you do that. No one will judge you for it. People will still worship you overseas. You'll have some fun. But it's either that, joining Wade in South Beach, or retiring. And like I said, retirement's not a bad thing. You still got to respect Melo for his career. I don't personally think he always did things the right way. He always went after the money instead of having a chance to compete. Not waiting until free agency to link up with New York and making them pretty much trade for him, or really enforcing them to trade for him and giving up their assets for him to play there immediately really hindered them. He didn't get along with guys like Jeremy Lin or Porzingis very much. That's fine. He is who he is. You got to respect the player, but to conclude, I think we can all say that this is the end for Carmelo Anthony, and that's fine. We can move on from it. But he's not going to win a ring. He's not going to compete in the playoffs, really. This is it. And let me know what you guys think. I always value your opinions, what you guys have to say. I am live streaming this through the Hardwood Amino app. You guys can either follow me on there. Also, I have Twitter and I have Instagram, so just hit me up and give me some suggestions for videos. If you guys have a few video ideas in mind, I'm always open to ideas, and if I pick your idea, I'll give out a link to your channel or whatever media you want me to give a link out to my description of the video. I did that for the James Harden idea, so just guys, just give me a shout. Thank you guys for listening. This is the Get Real Podcast.